Hey guys, good morning. Today's Tuesday, November 30th. I'm going to go and set up the room real quick and then we can get started. So let's see, 6:20 right now. So we got about 10 minutes till market opens. We have some time. I'm going to go ahead and just get everything all set up here so that we can kick off the trading day. So let's see, 30th. All right, let's go. Let me get the Zoom link out to you guys here in the premium. All right. It's like we're good right here. That looks solid. I'm gonna let people join the room real quick, and then once they get in, we can get started with our session. So good morning, everybody. Today's November 30th. Hopefully you guys are having a great week so far. I did see like a lot of people make a ton of profit over Asia session. I didn't trade at all during Asia session. I've been a lot more careful these past couple of weeks because obviously the holidays and whatnot. So I'm not really looking to risk too much, but we'll take a look to see what happened. Other than that, let's see what else we got over here. Check if we have news. I know Powell's speaking today, so one thing to keep in mind. Yeah, looking at the news this morning, looks like we got Powell speaking at 7. All right, so this is going to be I mean, this is probably going to be a really risky day to be trading, but we'll see what we can pick up from here. So let me just let more people join the room, guys. Once everyone joins the room, we can get started with our analysis of the market as we kick it off. All right, cool. People are still making their way in. That's good. All right, nice. So yeah, guys, good morning, everybody. Today's Tuesday, November 30th. It is 6:22 a.m. Market's opening in about 8 minutes. We do have heavy news today, so just keep that in mind. This morning, we have Chicago PMI at 6:45. We have Powell speaking at 7. He's probably going to speak for about an hour. Also at 7, we have CB consumer confidence, and then Treasury Secretary Yellen speaking at 7 o'clock. So we got a lot of big news this morning. So I don't even know if I'm going to be taking any trades this morning. I'll see if I can find anything. If I see something good, I'll take it. If not, anything after 7 is going to be pretty risky because there's a lot of stuff going on. There's like 2 big people speaking. Powell speaking, Fed Chair Powell, and then Treasury Secretary Yellen is going to speak as well. So this is like 2 of the biggest people with regard to economy, the U.S. economy speaking at the same time. And then all throughout the morning, we have Fed members speaking pretty much from 7 up until 10. So pretty much all U.S. session, it's going to be pretty, I think it'll be pretty volatile. Not a smooth volatile, but basically whenever they say something or confirm something, it's going to spike price one way or the other. So, something for you guys to just keep in mind if and when you guys decide to trade during this session. So let me just check real quick and see if everyone's in here. It's like majority of people are in the room. So I guess we can get started with analyzing what we have at hand. So like I mentioned before, guys, a lot of news this morning. So if you guys are just joining the room, it's a heavy news day today, all morning, starting from 6:45 up until like the rest of the session, pretty much heavy stuff going on. Other than that, let's check out CNBC real quick. Let's refresh this. Looks like all of the Dow futures, well, not Dow futures, but all the indices are very, very red. The Dow futures are down 293 points. S&P is down 29 points. NASDAQ's down 34 points. Oil is down 2 points. And the 10-year bond is down 1.4%. So with that said, I mean, you guys can see what happened right here, right? So the huge drop happened like right before London session. So literally at like 3 hours prior to London session, the market crashed right here. Well, not even crashed, but it dropped super heavily. And if you guys took any of these sell scalps here, I mean, you could have, made some profit off this. Um, However, obviously very risky trades here. Like if you were taking these trades here, I mean, there's a couple entries that were available. I didn't take any trades during this time, but you can see how big of a drop it's dropped since then. And it's attempting to make a recovery back to the upside. So as you can see right here, it's coming right back up to the New York low from yesterday. And once it reaches this point, it'll either, balance off it or continue pushing to the upside. So what I would recommend is if you guys do decide to trade during this session, I mean, be very careful. I'd probably use half lot size if you guys are trading just to be safe because, last thing I want to do is enter trade and then it ends up going the opposite way. My guess is that when Fed Powell speaks and Treasury Secretary Yellen, when she speaks at 7, I think they're going to keep pushing price back to the upside. I don't really see it dropping anymore. I mean, this market's crazy, pretty much how it's been moving. Going over to the 10-minute over here, let's refresh. So as you can see, it's been going down for a while now. So if you just zoom out a bit, you can see that US 30 has actually been dropping since November 8th. So this entire month, US 30 has actually been dropping. I'll zoom in a little closer. You guys can see right here. Let me just turn this off too. It's not necessary. But yeah, looking here on the 10-minute, if you take everything off, you can kind of see that, price has literally been dropping since November 8th. A lot of people don't notice this, but it's been dropping. So if you were to draw a trend line from up here, this thing has literally been in a downtrend since November 8th. So, just looking on a bigger scale here, it's going to have to swing back up at some point, right? I mean, US 30 is it's a directional asset. So I think when Treasury Secretary Yellen and Powell speak today, they're probably going to say something to push price to the upside because, this thing's been dropping for a while. Usually they like, or, the government, not them, but generally everyone likes to see the market close bullish towards the end of the year. So this might be the turning point where market starts to turn to the upside. Because if you go back and look at previous data, like we do every year, it usually plays out. So here's the daily entry from yesterday, hit full TP. So this is the one that we took yesterday, guys. If you guys remember, this is what we took, right? Hit full TP, smooth move. Our analysis played out perfectly. Again, right here, we'll be looking for another entry. So market is opening in about 3 minutes. We'll be looking out for that. Going over here to the snipe entries. Let me see if there's any zones around this area. Quite a bit of zones, so I'll just draw a couple here. Nothing right now specifically, but let's draw those zones that are right there for any possible entries when it comes to that time. All right, other than that, I think that's it for right now. All right, market is opening in about 2 minutes. So let's just look at the bias right now. So looking over at the retail sentiment is currently 58% long, meaning that 58% of retail traders are buying right now. Looking over at the futures data, obviously it's bearish. It's 300 points in the red. Looking over here at the technical analysis, looking at the 1 minute, it's currently bullish right now, but it's getting close to the New York high from yesterday. 3 minutes also bullish, and the 10-minute is bullish as well. So looking at the technicals, looks like everything is bullish right now. However, the fundamentals are still bearish. So we'll have to wait and see what happens when the market actually opens to see if it continues to push to the upside, because they are a bit opposite. Also, the retail sentiment is also long. So it's just a toss up right now, guys. And I would recommend that, everyone be careful. So let's see what happens next. Morning, Lisa. Morning, Paul. Paul said yesterday at work was crazy. I'm sorry to quit my job. Yeah, Paul, you just got to stay consistent with your funded account and you should be good. Morning, Abraham. Morning, Maria. Morning, Kenny. Morning, Al. Morning, everyone. Yeah, Abraham said, came see you guys sometime soon. Sean and the team, I might take a break for a bit. Yeah, definitely, Abraham. It's a holiday, so very understandable. Morning, Arash. Morning, Peter. Morning, everyone. Morning, Rick. Rick said Palace is good luck charm. So here's the market. Market is now open. I wouldn't take the breakout right now because of how market has been moving, but we'll see. If I see the breakout, I'll mark it up for you guys. If if it doesn't come up, then it doesn't come up. But let me see what else is here. Morning, Matt. Morning, Rav. Yeah, Rav is down pretty heavily. Morning, Fahad. Yeah, I agree, Fahad. It'd be nice if it does blow up to the top side, right? Morning, down this morning, everybody. All right, guys. So market is now open. It's been open for 30 seconds. You can see price is starting to drop right here. Let's check the fundamentals real quick, see where everything is sitting. Refresh this. Currently down 295 points. A lot of points to be dropping right now. So the bias right here for the fundamentals is obviously a sell, but you can see that price is coming down and then it's kind of bouncing off the pivots right here, right? So our bias for today is technically going to be overall a sell, unless, unless Powell or I mean, whoever's, brings some good news. Technically, this would be the breakout right here. It's not one that I would take because it's so close to New York low right here, but you can see that this is a strong green candle, right? So for the breakout, you want to confirm a strong candle in the direction of momentum. Right here, we have a buy signal, so we're only looking for buys. Right here's a strong green candle. You can see it's a strong green candle because it's a big, strong green candle with a little to no wick on top, right? It's a very small wick. So with that said, this would technically be the breakout. However, the reason why I wouldn't take this breakout is because it's so close to this New York low right here. And the problem with that is that price can bounce right off it. This candle here hasn't even closed above, so it's still technically running. And it has 19 seconds left on it. So it can pull right back down below this New York low within the next 10 seconds or so. It's happened to us a lot of times and we've seen it happen. And the reason why I wouldn't want to take a trade like that, because it can bounce off this New York low and just come right back down, hit stop loss, and then swing right back up, right? Another reason why I wouldn't take it is because the fundamentals are strong for a sell. But, price obviously is not going down right now. It's going up. It's recovering from the big drop yesterday. So all in all, this is a breakout here for whoever was taking it or following it. This isn't necessarily a strategy that I like to teach people as much anymore because a lot of people do it incorrectly. And people get greedy, right? It moves too fast. A lot of people get greedy. They don't move their stop loss and profit. Like in this situation, if this was to happen here, I would have moved my stop loss and profit already. But a lot of people don't do that. And there you go, full TP off the breakout. We're not going to count that trade because I didn't take it myself. Being fully transparent with you guys, I only count the trades that I take with you guys here on the live session. I don't count the trades that I take during whatever other session that I traded, just what we do here on the live. So right here, full TP, but I wouldn't have taken it for a number of reasons if you guys listened to what my analysis was prior. So let's go back to the fundamentals real quick. It's currently only down 174 points. It was close to 300 points in the red. Until this goes to the green side, obviously bias is still a sell. So refreshing this right here. And the reason for that's because all these stocks are still red, right? It's the same situation that happened yesterday. Yesterday, all the stocks were green, but price continued to drop. But what happened after? After a while, it just ended up dropping even further, right? Or it ended up reversing. So if you guys remember yesterday, the entire stock index was all green. So we weren't taking any sells. However, we waited for that daily entry for a buy, and then it switched all the way to the upside. And that's where we caught the buy earlier. So I'm not looking to trade in this manipulation right here. If the stock index is completely red like this, it shouldn't be pushing up that strong because it's such a big push. It's like 1,000 pip push right here. Well over 1,000 pip push. It's 1,670 pip push. That's a big push for fundamentals to be that strong for a sell. And you can see prices coming right back down. You guys just want to be careful and wait for, some better confirmations here. So let me just check real quick. I'll put the requirements for the strategies here so that you guys can see what we're looking for. All right. All right, so looking at this right here, this is the 3-minute strategies that we're looking to apply. You guys got to keep in mind that the daily strategy is still not an official strategy, right? It's not one that I've tested long enough to confirm that it's a very accurate strategy. It's one of the strategies that one of our members here thought up himself and has been applying. It's not necessarily one that I would recommend just yet, but we are forward testing it on the live session. That's the best way to test the strategy, right? To do it, to forward test it and to do it live. Because the thing is, it's all raw. It's like all raw material here. I'm not editing anything. If I see something good, I'll recommend why I think it's a good trade, or I'll recommend why it's a bad trade and why it's risky. But yeah, the strategy here is still unfinished, guys. So this is why we don't really apply this very much. I personally don't take it very often, only if it looks really good. I would take it. Like if it lines up with the pivot scalp, I'll take it. If it doesn't, probably not. Other than that, yeah, other than that, I don't really see much here. So looking at current price, it came all the way back down where we anticipated. Reason why it's dropping like that is because the fundamentals are still very red, right? Looking at the stock index here, this is where it's supposed to go. It's not supposed to go up because the stocks are all red. Literally all of them are red. There's no reason for it to be going up like that. Also looking at this right here, it's down 251 points. So, this is why I use fundamentals first before anything, because it literally tells you where price is supposed to go. So here we go. Price is right back to market open. Thanks for confirming that, Maddie. Let me go over here real quick. I'm going to go and just draw. So guys, like Maddie is probably one of the best people here in K2 that applies the K2 strategies, like the new strategies that we're applying. So what me and Maddie are going to do probably soon are since Maddie's like really good at calling out trades and I end up missing a lot of them, me and Maddie are probably going to Maddie's going to join the live with me. So he's going to be on the live. His mic's going to be open and he's going to tell me when he sees trades and we're going to analyze them live so that I don't miss any more scalps. So, Maddie's been working closely with me every day and he's killing it. He has 2 funded accounts now, FTMO and MFF. He's working on his 3rd account right now. And Maddie's killing it. So, Maddie's probably going to be on the mic. Not now, or maybe not next week. I know he's busy the next couple of weeks, but, just give you guys a heads up. You're probably going to hear another person on the mic. Maddie's going to be calling out trades when he sees them so that I can answer your questions and I can, respond to you guys while also not missing any trades, because I happen to miss a lot of trades when I'm answering questions. So it'll be good. It'll be good for everybody. It'll be good for me so I don't miss trades. It'll be good for you guys so that you guys have a second pair of eyes looking for these scalps here, because these scalps do come really quickly. But yeah, Maddie's been killing it with the variation, killing it with pretty much everything. Yeah, definitely, Maddie. Let's see if there's anything else here. So looking at the 1 minute over here, this technically, let me just draw this one. Nothing right here. Nothing right there. That's been invalidated. This is the closest low, and this would be the closest high. Yeah, you guys got to keep in mind, we have news coming up at 6:45. So it's 6:37 right now. News is coming up in about 7 minutes. So we do have Chicago PMI at 6:45, and then we have Powell speaking at 7. So see what happens next. Patrick's going to break up these, Sean. Maddie's my man now. Yeah, no, Maddie's been killing it, guys. I know you guys have seen Maddie in the chat. He's the one that always calls out the variations and stuff. And the problem is, he'll call it the variation in the chat, he'll type it up, but I won't see it until later because we get so many questions. So, we're probably just going to have him on an open mic where he can just tell me when he sees something and we can analyze it real quick. Because the market's super volatile. This is probably the best time for us to start taking more trades because the volatility is so high. Literally you can take a trade whenever you see any of these scalps and they just hit right away within seconds or a couple seconds or even minutes. And it's been working really good for Maddie. So I wanted it to work for everybody else here too. All right, so we got a pending sell signal here off the 3 minute. It's not one that I would take because technically it would be okay, but the trend here is still to the upside. The trend is up. However, the fundamentals are down. So as long as the fundamentals stay down, maybe I would look for it. However, it's kind of risky because everything is so one-sided, right? You don't really want to trade when everything is super one-sided because it's easy for markets to be manipulated to the upside. Also, Powell's going to speak at 7. So when he speaks, he might just spike price to the upside, right? Not just Powell, but Yellen as well. So if you guys don't know Yellen, she's a Treasury Secretary. So she basically controls all the money in the U.S. Powell is basically the same thing. He's the head of pretty much of the Fed. So I mean, both of them together, whatever they say. I mean, usually one of them, what happens is Powell usually pushes price to the upside, Yellen pushes price to the downside. So that's why you guys want to be careful, because they can say one thing and then she'll say a different thing, and they'll just argue and rebut, and then price will just be all over the place. So you guys want to be a little careful if you guys decide to trade during those times. But you can see price starting to swing back to the upside, which doesn't really make sense, right? Looking at the stock index right here, it's all red. It doesn't make sense for it to go up, but it is what it is. And this is why we're just being very careful and patient with these entries here. I mean, obviously, if we see something good, we'll take it. But if I don't see anything good, then, I'm definitely going to be waiting a bit. Because you can see price came up here. It tested the previous New York low, and then it bounced right off it like it was supposed to. Yeah, so let's see what happens right after this. We got a new high that's pending right there. We'll let that high kind of establish. We need to wait for 4 or 5 candles after before we can take a trade off that. So we'll see what happens. If price breaks it, that's fine. Establishes another high that's pending. But you can see price is attempting to break past this New York low, and it's having a lot of trouble. Whenever it gets close to it, it just bounces right off it. So that's why these these previous session high-low indicators are very important. This is probably one of the most important things during these live sessions, because it usually gives you an idea where not to trade, because you don't want to trade when it's getting near this, because one of 2 things can happen. Price will either bounce off it, or price will break above it. So the thing is, if you're on the wrong side, you're going to get screwed. You're basically gambling if you trade around these previous session high lows. You probably want to wait for it to close above it or close below it. Like, for example, here, this candle closed above it, and it's like automatic shoot to the upside, right? Price closed below it, it's a huge shoot to the bottom side. So same with this candle right here. If this closes above it, then odds are it'll probably continue to push up a little higher. However, it's not one that I would take because of the fundamentals. Fundamentals are still super red here. It's not, I wouldn't necessarily want to take a trade that's, opposite of what everything else is showing. So, sorry guys, it's cold over here. It's starting to get cold, starting to feel like winter here in California. It's been so hot that this entire year. I have to turn on the heater at some point. But yeah, guys, looking at this right here, this candle's going to close soon in about 10 seconds. If this candle closes above here, then it would technically be an entry using the pivot scalp, but it's not necessarily one that I would personally take because it's going against fundamentals. Fundamentals are just, and it didn't close above it, right? So, or it closed above the previous New York session low, but it's not an entry because it didn't close with the signal. So this is the next new pending high right here. And this is where you would determine where price is going to go, right? Because price will either continue pushing up or it'll come right back down below. Either go up or come back down below. So, Charlie, you can find the sessions high-low on the indicators. If you go to indicators, go to, it's K2 sessions high-low indicator right here. So just go to your invite only scripts. It'll be K2 sessions high-low. If you can't find it on there, Charlie, just message me. And then I might have to update, or I can check the system because you should have access to it, but you'll find it right there. Just go to indicators, invite only scripts. It's K2 sessions HL. You won't be able to find like all the new indicators that are released for K2 guys. You won't find them on the K2 page or on the, yeah, no problem, Charlie. You can't find them on the K2 page or in the public index because they're all private now. The older indicators, you can find them on the page as long as you have access to them. But all the new ones that are being released, like the high, low, and the previous sessions, they're all private. All right. So looking at current price, we've now found a range. So you guys can see where the range is at right here, right? We have news coming up shortly in about 20 seconds. We'll see how the news affects the market. But as you can see, price is now currently in a range. which is perfect because that's what we want. We want price to be in a range so that I can break out of the range and then you can take trades from there. All right, news is coming out right about now, 6:45. Chicago PMI has been released. We'll see how the market reacts to it. All right, still coming out. Let's click it one more time. You can basically see how it affects the market when you see price move one way or the other. All right, nothing there yet. News was negative. So the previous number was 68.4. They were forecasting it to be down by 1 point. However, it dropped about 7 points. So going over here, you can see prices starting to drop slightly. Not very heavily, but slightly, right? The news was negative. And here we go with price coming down because people are starting to see the news. People are selling. Doesn't necessarily mean it's going to continue to drop, but you can see the reaction to the news event, right? This is how you guys can determine how news events work. They're not always going to be they're not always going to move in the direction of what it shows here, but you can just look at price and see, oh, where did price drop at like 6:45? It dropped. Okay, was the news negative? Okay, so people follow the news basically. And now price is starting to swing right back up. One thing that you guys want to be careful of in the next couple of minutes is that Powell is speaking in the next 15 minutes or so. So today's going to be a bit risky. If you guys have questions, this is probably the best day for you guys to get your questions out so that we can cover whatever you guys need help with. Since the market is going to be a bit risky, I'm not really looking to take any risky trades. I will be looking for trades. If I see something that looks good, I'll take it. However, with Powell speaking and Yellen speaking right after, or I think they're speaking at the same time, I'm probably not going to want to take anything all too risky. Because like I mentioned, Powell usually pushes price to the upside and Yellen drops price because she's about regulation. So, if you guys are familiar with Janet Yellen, she always discusses regulation. So price goes down because the more that the market's regulated, the less that people want to play in it, right? Not necessarily the market in general, but just in general economics. So when Yellen speaks, price goes down usually. When Powell speaks, price goes up because Powell's all about giving money out, So we'll see what happens here. But you can see how price is reacting to the news, right? Price is dropping right here. The news was negative. It makes sense, right? News is negative. Price is now dropping. And it's dropping pretty heavily right here. So it'll probably drop for the next couple minutes. And then and this technically here would be an entry for a high-low scalp, but I don't think I would take it because of the candle is just too big. And it doesn't even close. Well, it would have to close below this line, and it didn't. So no entry off this candle right here. It's very important that you guys wait for the candle to actually close below it. So this is no longer valid. This candle has been invalidated by this candle right here because it touched it, didn't close below. So this is no longer the low. This is technically going to be the pending low now. Right over here. Well, that's unfortunate. It looks like it could have been a good drop too if we continue to drop lower. Let's see. Yep, that would have been a full TP off that scalp, the high-low scalp. Yeah. Yeah, this thing's dropping a little farther, but it wouldn't matter even if it drops below it because there's no low that's there. That low's been invalidated again. All right, let's see. So RJ said, I have until December 8th to pass my 10,000 FTMO challenge. Don't think I'm going to pass it because I only made 100 so far for the entire month. I need help, LOL. So RJ, here, let me see. Let me check the calendar real quick. Wednesday 8th. So you have about a week. I mean, it's going to be tough. It's possible. Don't get me wrong. It's possible. I've done it within a week, but I'm different, right? Obviously I can probably do it, but for you and for any other trader that's not 100% confident about their trading yet, I would recommend just letting it run. Because if you let it run, you'll get a free retry, RJ. So that might be your best option. Because the thing is, you don't want to be pressured to take too much risk and then end up blowing it. So I don't know if you're familiar with like how it works, RJ, but if you close like your challenge and you're still in profit, they'll give you a free retry. So what I do recommend is, unless you're like 100% confident, if you think you can get there by the 8th, then, by all means, go ahead and take as many trades as you need to. But if you don't, then you should just leave your account alone. And then after the 8th passes, it'll give you a brand new account for free. So you can just have another 30 days from there. That's probably your best option. So you might want to do that. But, if you feel confident, by all means, go ahead and do what you need to do. But I would probably do what I recommend, because that's probably going to help you out the most with just giving you more time. Because what I see with a lot of people is, if you guys are under too much pressure, you end up taking a lot of risk, you end up over leveraging, you end up over trading, revenge trading, stuff like that. And then instead of getting the free retry, you just end up blowing the account. So unless you're like 100% confident, I would just recommend just letting the account go until that happens. Yeah, Josh over here said, I've had 2 free retries. It works. LOL. Yeah, no, it does work, RJ. So what I would recommend is, if you're not at that level yet where you think you can pass it like right away, just like let it run. Don't even touch it. And just make sure that it's in positive equity by the 8th. If it's in positive equity on the 9th, they'll probably email you with a brand new account. And then you'll have another month. From there, you had a month of practice. Now you're like ready to do even better that you did prior. Because it's all a learning process, guys. You're not going to get this stuff right away. A lot of these scalps, if you guys aren't quick enough, you're going to miss a lot of them. So you got to be really quick with it. So yeah, my best advice to you is to just let it run then, RJ. All right, let me see if there's anything else right here. So this has gotten pushed down a little further. Yeah, no problem, RJ. There's no rush. What you can do now is, if you still want to trade, RJ, just open like a demo account or open a practice account on FTMO, like one of the trial accounts on FTMO. You can just play around with it and see and just continue trading if you really want to. But if you don't, then just wait for your thing to reset. Yeah, there's no rush, bro. It's during the holidays too, so you want to be a little careful, especially with a lot of the stuff going on. Like this week, the Fed's speaking today, they're speaking tomorrow. Just want to be careful. Powell's speaking tomorrow too at 7. Oh, Yellen's speaking tomorrow. So Yellen is speaking today and tomorrow with Powell. Thursday, we have unemployment claims, Fed speaking all day. And then Friday, we have NFP. So this week's just going to be a bit crazy. So you just probably want to be careful. Other than that, let's see if there's anything else that I got over here. So let's see, question from Arash. Let's see. So Arash said, Sean, when that low high is pending, we have to wait for it to be established, or if it's broken, we can take it. You have to wait for it to be established, Arash. The strategy is right here. So if none of these are, if they're not all met, then there's not going to be an entry. The main first requirement is going to be for it to be established. If that doesn't meet, you can't use it anymore. It's kind of similar to what we discussed yesterday. Like you showed me that markup of that sell. If you took that sell, it would have been lost, but it wouldn't be an entry because you wouldn't have taken it since the first requirement wouldn't have been met. So it's pending until it's established. If it's not established, then it's not usable. Like for example, right here, this is established, right? Or it's not established yet, but it's going to be. This one right here has been established. This lower high is established because you wait for 4 or 5 candles past it that pass it to establish. I'm gonna change to just 5 because this there we go. Because we keep saying 4 to 5, but realistically it's got to be 5. So 1 minute. When K2 1 minute high low scalp. So that. All right, yeah. So basically you need 5 candles after to establish it. So for example, here we have a high 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles. This has been established. For this candle right here, we have the low that's pending 1, 2, 3, 4. If this candle here closes, or actually 1, 2, 3, 4, we need 2 candles after it. If 2 candles after close it, then it'll be established as low. So you can't take any shortcuts here. You got to wait for it to actually close. to establish as the actual high or the low. Charlie said 3-minute sell. Yeah, I wouldn't take any sells right now, guys. If you guys are looking to take any sells, I'd be really careful because Powell's speaking in the next 5 minutes. And that's probably why price is starting to push to the upside. A lot of people are preparing for Powell. So a lot of people are trying to get into those buys and just waiting for Powell to speak because they're expecting price to shoot right back up. But I wouldn't do it. That's all speculation, right? Because it doesn't always go up when he speaks. Most of the time it does go up, but it doesn't go up all the time. So for me personally, I wouldn't take any sells right now, guys. I would wait for the market to shift to the upside. And then when it shifts to the upside, then you can start looking for entries. Because like Powell's like, man, Powell has so much power in pushing price to the upside. Like, I don't know how he has so much power doing it, but whatever he says, like it just goes up. Like if you guys have seen that, like every time Powell speaks, I show you guys the memes, like, you know, like literally all of his memes here are let me see, they got an Instagram page over here. Daddy J Powell. So like, I mean, well, this is not as funny, but if you look over here at the images, like literally anything here, it's like Powell's like, let's see a red candle, and he's like, let's stimulate it, right? Because whenever he talks, he just ends up pushing price to the upside. So I personally wouldn't take any sells right now, because like literally all the memes here are just like a lot of him pushing price to the upside. And it's too close, right? Like you can see price starting to shift to the upside. A lot of people are entering these buys now because they know Powell's speaking in a few minutes. So they're just trying to catch it as it swings up. I wouldn't recommend doing that. I mean, I see a lot of people do that, but it's too risky. Because the thing is, if there's too many people on the buy side, they might just spike price down before shooting it right back up. So what might happen here is price might spike right back down, and then it'll just go right back up after it stops everyone out. Also, you guys want to keep in mind that's getting close to the New York low again right here. It's New York low and the London low. So they both line up with each other right there. Let me scroll down a little bit. Fahad said for the retries, I think all you need is positive equity. And I'm not sure if you need to have 10 trading days or not, just to make sure. I think you still do, Fahad. Yeah, so RJ, make sure that you have all of the other requirements met. So you got to close out the trading session in positive, and then you got to make sure that you trade at least 10 trading days. It's not that difficult because you still have 8 days left. So what you could do is you can just open a 0.01, open and close it just right away, so that it can count the trading day if you don't have the 10 days yet. If you have the 10 days, then it's completely fine. The main goal is that you're just in the positive equity in order to get that free retry. So yeah, thanks for bringing that up, Fahad, because I forgot to even mention that. Yeah, no problem, Arash. Arash said, now I got the meaning of establishing, actually. Yeah, no, got you, Arash, no problem. Yeah, and Maddie over here said that 3-minute sell candle is way too big. Yeah, so for this sell candle right here, this is also a big candle. So there's a lot of red flags here. One red flag is that I wouldn't take it because Powell's speaking soon. It was also like about 1,000 pips. So it would have to retrace a bit. But the main reason why I wouldn't take it is because Powell's speaking in about 2 minutes. It's just too risky. Rick said, don't be hating on my boy Powell. Yeah, exactly. Thanks, Roger, for confirming that. Yeah, Roger said you do need to have 10 days. So yeah, RJ, if you're still here, just make sure that you have 10 days on your challenge. Yeah, Patrick said all of the other requirements have to be met for FTMO, but they will let you have a retry. First balance ended at $200,001. So my profit $1 gave me a free retry. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, I know you're good, RJ. So RJ said he has everything else passed, just not the 1,000 profit. So you're good, RJ. You can just let it run pretty much until the 8th, and then you should be solid. All right, guys. Powell's going to speak in about a minute. Yeah, Maddie said market is still down almost 300 points, 57% long as well. So let's take a look at this. Looking at retail sentiment, currently it's 57% long. Looking at the fundamentals today, currently about 300 points in the red. Looking at the stock index over here, it's still pretty much red for the most part too. This is probably going to get changed real quick. So as you can see right here, this is exactly what we're anticipating, right? So I mentioned price is going to get pushed up. It's probably going to drop a bit. And then when Powell speaks, it's just going to go right back up. So 7 o'clock, I think Powell's starting to speak shortly. I don't know if they have it televised or anything. Let me check YouTube real quick. Yeah, so Powell and Yellen are both speaking together. So I got it right here on my screen. Let's see if I can pull it up for you guys. Rick said, Sean, is 4,980 good for a good day, or should I keep going? Yeah, you should probably log off and go grab something nice. You know what I mean? Yeah, so they're about to speak right now. So over here we got Rick said, keep going. It says live. Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen are going to be testifying before Congress today. Yeah, coverage starts at 10 a.m. It's 10 a.m. right now on the East Coast, so it should be starting shortly. They haven't started yet, but they are going to be starting in a short while, looks like. So let's leave that there, and we'll come back to it. So you can see prices starting to swing right back to the upside, right? It's just way too risky to be taking any trades right now. Because a lot of people are gambling in the market right now. A lot of people are trying to get in. A lot of people are trying to get out. So I can see that this drop right here are a lot of people who pulled out because they didn't want to trade during the news event. Same with like the retail sentiment right here, right? This was like 59% long earlier. It's now 57 because a lot of people who are long just pulled out of the market. They're like, yeah, I'm not going to trade during Powell's speech and Yellen's speech because they don't know what's going to happen. Just want to be a little careful. Let me refresh this real quick. Yeah, they haven't started yet. I mean, the stream started about 4 minutes ago, but they haven't started speaking yet. So we'll see what happens here. All right, there's another high right here. I'm going to keep drawing these high lows just so that you guys can see how price is starting to, how the range is getting tighter. So as you guys can see, this was the wide range right here. Then it tightened a little bit and tightened even more. So this is now the current range where price is going sideways. Zoom out from here. So as you can see, price is starting to squeeze. It's not really doing much. And the reason why it's getting tighter is because a lot of people are pulling out of the market. Volatility is getting low. Price isn't really moving very much because a lot of people are just sitting out and then waiting for Powell and Yellen to finish speaking. All right, they've started, guys. Now it's now going on. They haven't said anything specific yet, but they're just getting started with their opening remarks. Let's see. Rick said, last night was fire. I was drinking, then about to go pass out, instead make 3K. Nice, Rick. Yeah, no, definitely. I did see your messages in the group. So like here, let's go to the profits real quick for this morning. So this morning, so Lisa just passed her FTMO. She's now funded. So congrats to Lisa over here. Big congrats to her. She's been trading on her phone as she's traveling in Bali. She finally got a laptop. She went back home to I think Australia, right? So she's now trading on her computer, and she finally got funded. So big congrats to Lisa over here. So here's Lisa, or here's Rick. Let's start off with like everyone from the beginning. Rick started off with 2,767 right here. So Rick started off with about 3K in profit, and then then CT over here locked in a total of about almost 3K over here on his account. And then Rick kept going, locked in a total of 3,440. So this is what Rick was talking about in the group. Also, we have Lisa over here. So Lisa made about 531. And then you can see right here that she passed her FTMO. So she passed it right here. This is she's now funded because this is her verification. She just needs to pass her 10 trading days. So in 6 days from now, she's going to be getting her funded account. So big congrats to Lisa here. Her win rate right here, 86%, profit factor 2.75. You guys can see that, people are passing their FTMOs and MFFs here in K2 every single day. So big congrats to Lisa. I know Lisa's been grinding it out since she got screwed over by funding talent a while back before she joined K2, and she just made it right back. So great profit right there, Lisa, and glad to see that you're finally funded with us. Dell over here locked in a total of 771. Nice work, Dell. Albert over here locked in a total of 2,100. Great work, Albert. Brian over here locked in a total of 4,976. Great work, Brian, as usual. Albert again right here, his other account, 2,445. All wins, no losses, straight wins right there. And then we got Narith over here with a total of 4,910 off US 30. Took that buy off that bottom. Nice work, Narith. So you guys are all killing it. Great work to everybody over here. Vincent over here locking a total of 3,220. Nice work, Vincent. He took a buy and a sell right there. And then he just pulled out real quick. He said first trade was TP set at 100 pips, but it pulled me out early for some reason. What happens sometimes, Vincent, is that it's the spread. So you might have got kicked out by the spread, or you might have gotten kicked out by like a spike of volatility, price just spiking up and down. Other than that, let's see Jay over here. So Jay took a couple losses right here, but he ended up in profit. So he did take a couple losses over here, but he did end up in profit, a total of 3,132. So he took some revenge trades, but he made it all right back. So definitely right there, Jay. Congrats. I'll give you the link for the news real quick. Let's see, Jay's right there. Gotti over here as well. So guys, look at the consistency here, right? This is what we always try to push for you guys here. We want you guys to have winning days every single day. So Gotti over here, straight wins, no losses. So great work right there, Gotti off his FTMO. And you guys are killing it. Everybody's killing it today. I'm glad, not just today, but pretty much every day. You guys are doing amazing. So great work to everybody here. You can see price starting to shift to the upside. This technically right here would have been a high-low entry. Unfortunately, we missed it. I mean, I don't even think I would have taken it even if I saw it, because it's just too risky of a trade. We have another high-low entry right here, but it's not one that I would necessarily take as well. There's another high-low right here. Because Powell's speaking right now, so I don't want to get into anything and then end up getting caught in like the reversal. But yeah, this would be another high-low entry right there for whoever's looking to take it. Let me check. I mean, Powell hasn't even started speaking, but everyone's like, everyone's getting hyped right now. So another buy entry right there that could have hit TP. I'm just going to be careful today, guys, because obviously, I'm not looking to take any stupid trades. Because I know myself, and I know that if I get into that mindset where I start gambling, it's obviously it's not going to end well. So both these trades here hit full TP for whoever decided to catch them. That was a high-low entry. So this right here actually would have been a perfect entry. I probably would have taken this one. And the reason for that is because this was an entry using the high-low strategy, because you can see price break and close past this pivot, past this high. And then for this pivot scalp entry, it's also an entry because we have a buy signal and it closed above the pivots right here. So that's two strategies right there. The icing on the cake would be that it's an entry using the intraday strategy as well. So we have a buy signal here and the trend meter is also green. So with that said, with this entry over here, this would line up with three different strategies. Using the parameters for the, let's see, for the intraday would be down here, 88 points. So the intraday entry would still be running right now, technically right there. If you guys remember the intraday entries, this is basically the original strategy that we started applying K2 a long time ago, about 5 years ago. This is the very original strategy that we used to apply. We basically see if the momentum indicator matches up with the trend meter. They're both green. We would move the TP stop loss to the previous swing. I think this would be too far down though, because it's a 1 minute. So we probably would place it right here as a swing at 62 points. And if that was the case, it would have hit full TP right there already. So as you guys can see, three different strategies here all lined up together. This would be an entry using the intraday. This would also be an entry using the pivot scalp. This would also be an entry using the high-low scalp. So if you took three different entries there at the same exact candle, it gives you that perfect confluence that it would push far enough to hit TP. So yeah, basically like JT over here said, Jonathan, he said triple confluence, and that's exactly what I look for in every trade. That's why almost every trade that I take wins, because I look for those perfect entries. If I was to give a range of probability for this trade hitting with three confluences, that'd probably be like a 90% opportunity of winning. If you're just going with two strategies, maybe like a 75 to 80% of winning, and then with one, probably like a 70%. So when I see stuff like this is one that I would like to take. The only thing that would push me away from wanting to take this trade is the fact that we have some really high impact news going on right now with regard to Powell and Janet Yellen speaking. So yeah, hopefully that helps with you guys, choosing your trades. You guys got to keep in mind that it's not about having a ton of wins. It's about not losing. So if you guys can pick the winners and not lose, your profits will be pretty much unlimited, just like how I've been doing, because I only take like a few trades a day, but they all win. Other than that, let me see if I missed anything over here. Let's scroll up real quick. Yeah, Maddie, that high low was super risky. I just saw your message. Nice. Looks like you took it, but you pulled out once it dipped into profit because of the session high. I agree. No, same here. That's one that I'd be careful about too. For RJ's asking, hey, what lot size would you suggest for a $10,000 account? So RJ, I'm assuming you're only trading US 30, right? Because if you're trading other stuff, each asset is valued differently. So if you're trading US 30, let me check what your daily max loss is. So FTMO, because you only want to risk about 1 to 3%. All right, let me see if I could find. All right, so you're on a 10K account. Your max daily loss is $500, right? So that's how much you could lose off FTMO. So the way to calculate that is you just do 500, you divide that by 3. So this is how much you can lose per trade, 166.66. So if your stop loss is 300 pips, like say if you're doing and it really depends. It depends if your stop loss is 300 pips or 500 pips, because your stop loss is going to determine how much you're risking per trade. So if you're doing the 1 minute scalp and your stop loss is 300 pips, then you would set your, let me see this real quick. I'm trying to eyeball, I think 0.03 times 300. No, it's too low. So 0.30 times 300. It's a $90 loss right there. So 0.05 or 0.50 times 300. All right, so it looks like your lot size should be between okay, so yeah, your lot size should be a 0.5. That's max. You can use anything less than that, but your max should be 0.5, because if you're using a 0.5 and you're going for a 300 pip stop loss, this is how much you're risking per trade, 150, right? If you go back to the main number that we were looking at earlier, you can lose a total of 1.66 per trade. So for example, if you were to use a 0.5, you can lose 5 back-to-back trades before you hit your stop loss or before you reach your max loss, right? You never want to get anywhere near that. So for example, if you're taking a trade and you get near, you lose 1 trade and then you want to keep going, that's fine, you keep going. But once you lose your second trade, you probably just stop trading for the day, because it's probably going to indicate that it's a bad day to trade. Like it's probably, the market's probably messed up for that day. So you should probably hold off. So this is your profit potential. Your risk potential. And you just want to make sure you're within that area. Because the thing is, if you just keep winning and you don't lose trades, your profits are going to add up. I think your goal for that is 1,000, right? So it's not really that bad. I mean, you can reach that. If you do this consistently, you don't lose trades, you can easily reach your profit target of 1,000, within a couple weeks. I wouldn't say a couple days, but maybe within a couple weeks. And then once you get more and more confident, you can increase that lot size. So this is just a starting point. Starting point is going to be a 0.50, and then you can change that up to, like, maybe if you start to feel really confident, you can go up to a 0.6, where you're going to be risking 180. So 0.6 or 0.60 times 300, you'll be risking 180, but your max loss is going to be for the day is 500. So 500 divided by 180, you can lose about 2.7 trades. So, it's just basic math, but like for the most part, you start with a 0.50. And then if you feel confident, you can go up to a 0.6 zero, but you just want to make sure that you're managing your risk properly. Here we go. As price starts to come back down, who's talking right now? Mr. Toomey? I don't know who he's speaking to. Looks like they're just talking, but he's not really speaking to anyone directly. Yeah, no problem, RJ. Gotcha. All right, so price came right back down. This high has been invalidated. Or let's just move this up higher. Right there. This high has been invalidated. This low right here is pending. Zoom out from this point. All right, so we're pretty much just waiting right now for the most part. If you guys have questions, drop any questions you guys have and I can answer them for you. But yeah, I don't think I'll be entering any trades myself because they're pretty much testifying right now, Powell and Janet Yellen. So they haven't said anything yet, but right now they're basically asking them questions and then they're going to respond to them shortly. Look at the fundamentals real quick. Fundamentals are still down 241 points. Looking at the stock index, it's still pretty red right now for the most part. Yeah, it looks like it hasn't really changed much. A couple stocks here are green now. Apple and Salesforce both green. Apple's up 3.62. Salesforce is up 1.58. So not horrible, but also not that great. Scrolling down real quick. See, Arash said if two or more high lows are near each other, you prefer the most recent high low, like now in US 30. So Arash, they're both valid. So you can use both of them. Like for example, right here, if price comes above here and closes right here, Arash, then it's usable, right? If price pushes above here, it will invalidate this one. Well, I mean, it wouldn't invalidate, it'd still be good. They'd still be both entries. It'd be an entry down here or be an entry up here. So we don't prefer either of them because they're both good. So it doesn't matter if price closes below here, closes above here. It's still going to be an entry either way. So here's what could happen. Like price can close above here. It can push up slightly because you're only going for like 100 pips, right? So for example, right here, Arash. So say price right here closes right above it. It pushes up. You hit your TP, right? Price comes down slightly, pushes up again right here. What happens at that point? You have another entry. So you take a buy there and you take another buy there because you'll be out of this position. You take a second one, then you'll have two trades. So you don't really prefer one or the other. It's just whatever is available. Because you can even have two entries if that happens, where it pushes up, hit your TP, and then it continues pushing up even higher. So there's a lot of ways to do it. If you're focused well enough, you can catch both of them a lot of times. And it works very well. One thing that you guys want to keep in mind is that you're always focused on the momentum here, right? You want to trade in the direction of momentum. Because what happens is I see a lot of people not look at momentum and prices just ranging both ways. And then they end up going in these wrong trades because they're not following the momentum. So just, one thing you want to keep in mind is if you're taking buys, make sure that the momentum is a buy. If you're taking sells, make sure that the momentum is a sell. Because I see sometimes people will take it when there's no momentum and then price doesn't go that way because momentum isn't pushing that direction. So just to keep in mind. Yeah, definitely no problem, Raj. Glad to help you with that analysis there. So Roger said that great high-low entry also had confirmations of breaking closing past market price opens of New York. And yeah, exactly, Roger. So like this entry right here that Roger is just talking about, this would have been a perfect entry because there were so many confluences. There was 3 different strategies that failed. It also closed above the session's lows from yesterday. So that gives you like another confluence. You got 4 confluences right there. It's almost a guaranteed move. But unfortunately we missed it, but it's okay because there's going to be more entries. That's not going to be the only one that we take and not the only one that's going to be available. So just keep that in mind, guys. And if you ever miss a trade, don't worry because there's going to be another trade. I see a lot of people enter trades late because they get FOMO. You guys know what FOMO is. It's fear of missing out. people get FOMO and then they enter a trade after it's already passed, and then they end up losing because the trade's already done with. So don't ever get FOMO, guys. Just take it as is, and then if you miss it, just wait for the next one. So this one right here, Arash, I just want to show you. This would be an invalid entry. Reason for it being an invalid high. The reason why it's invalid because it's been invalidated by the next candle right here. So that's why this wouldn't be considered a high. But we would just put this here to identify the range. Now that price is broken below, it's cool. Let's delete it. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Wait, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This technically would be an entry using the high-low scalp. I think it's too risky though. I wouldn't take it. I mean, if you guys want to take it, feel free. I still don't want to take anything because, well, Yellen is speaking. So speaking of the devil, right? Price is coming down because Yellen is speaking. If you guys remembered, I mentioned price generally drops when Yellen speaks. Yellen is speaking right now and price is dropping. Man, it's just so funny how things line up. If you guys ever watch Powell or Yellen speak, if price is dropping, you're like, oh, Yellen's probably speaking right now. You pull it up and Yellen is speaking. When price goes up, probably Powell's going to be giving his testimony. Yellen's probably talking about some regulation and stuff. People don't like Yellen, and for good reason. But yeah, so this low right here is actually invalidated, Arash. So no entry there. Delete that. The new low is going to be right here. Other than that, let's see if there's anything else that I'm missing. Sam said, hey, Sean, could you analyze an entry? I was watching during London session at 15 your time. Was multiple strategy entry. Yeah, sure. So let me go take a look at that real quick. We're not looking to take any entries right now anyway, so I'll just go back and take a look at Sam's question over here. So he said 15 my time. Right here, yeah. So let's go back over here real quick. Yeah, Rosh. So this is actually a great entry here. So looking at this right here, we have a low, hasn't been touched. So this candle right here is an entry using the high-low scalp. The reason why it's an entry using the high-low scalp is because there's a low here, price broken close below it. We have a sell signal and it's broken out of a range, right? Because price was ranging within this area right here. So price was ranging, consolidating, it broke below it. This would be entry using the high-low. On top of that, this would be another entry using the pivot scalp, right? Because we have a sell signal, it closed below the pivots right here. So this would be a pivot scalp entry right there. Perfect entry, like very good entry. Third confluence would be that it was closing below. So right here, we have a sell signal and the trend meter is red, right? So this is a triple confluence, just like what I look for every single time I take a trade. And if you were to take this trade right here, right there, for about 100 pips, you can go straight to TP right there. But so the thing with this right here, I wouldn't take the trader on this area because it's like right at London Open, Sam. So even though it's a good entry, I personally wouldn't take any trades here off London Open because you can see how it's very volatile, right? The problem with it being super volatile like this is that it's gonna bounce back and forth. However, if this was like during normal time, like during New York session or even pre-market, I would take it. However, due to the fact that this is like, if you ask anybody, like nobody trades on London Open from like midnight until the first 1 or 2 hours, I usually leave this alone. So from this right here, this is usually I call this like a dead zone basically, or a kill zone. Because the problem with this is that the thing is you're trading an asset that is not a US asset. And a lot of the London traders are putting in their trades for US 30 as their market opens, right? So people are still trading US 30. It's just not as highly volatile. The only problem is like from this period right here, market gets kind of crazy. So you can see right here, how market gets kind of crazy within that period. Usually I wait for after this, the first hour or 2 hours. So this is 2 hours. And this is 1 hour right here. So you can see how volatile it is, right? The problem with you trading during this time period right here is that it's moving too fast. Like the range within this area is like 1,000 pips. If your stop loss is 300 pips, you're gonna get stopped out almost every time because it's gonna pull back. So for me, I usually don't trade between this time. Well, I'm asleep during this time, so I wouldn't be trading anyways. I usually trade like 2 hours before US Open because that's when the market stabilizes a bit. And then it gets ready for the next market here. So yeah, volatility right here is too high. If you want, you can trade here. Like, don't get me wrong, you can trade here, but you want to have a wider TP stop loss because the volatility is just too high. But yeah, that would be a good trade. I just personally wouldn't take it because of the specific time you took it at. I would usually wait until like 1 or 2 hours after London open. Let's see, Sam City. I saw the volatility, decided to watch because if your stop loss was 300 pips, you would have gone stopped out. Yeah, no, exactly, 100%. You have gone stopped out here because it's just too volatile. Well, if you want to apply the intraday strategy, though, Sam, you've been with K2 for a while now, so you know where the intraday strategy would be set, right? Your TP would be at the previous swing. So, for example, right here, you pitch your stop loss at the previous swing right here. It's about like 65. We'll probably put that a little higher, maybe like I usually round it up to like the next whole number, which should be 70. So if you were to do the original intraday strategy, you'd have a bigger range and then you go for a bigger move. I think it eventually hits. Yeah, it does eventually hit. However, it's it's just risky. It just depends on how you want to trade it. So if you guys have been with K2 for a while and you guys have been applying the original strategy, this is the very first strategy that I taught to you guys. Basically, you just match the trend meter with the momentum signal here. And then when you enter it, you place a stop loss at the previous swing. It's for a 1-to-1. It's usually not applied on the 1 minute, but you can do it. Like I just showed you right now, it does work. However, it's really like case by case basis because for US 30, this asset moves differently. It's not like how a lot of other assets move. So if you were to do this and it lined up with like a bunch of other entries, it'd probably play out. So yeah, I mean, there's different ways to apply it. That's why we offer so many different strategies here because there's not one way to trade. You can trade in so many different ways, but depending on which strategy you apply, your TP and stop loss is going to vary according to that. Yeah, no, definitely, Sam. So Sam, I know the strategy. Thanks. Definitely, Sam. Glad I could help you with that. And I'm glad that you still remember that strategy because like people still apply it. It's just not applied as often, but it does work very well still. That's why I use it as a confluence. I don't use it as a main strategy, but I do use it as a confluence to the other strategies that we apply here. Other than that, I think that's it for right now. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat. Otherwise, we'll keep looking for trades, but I don't think I'm going to be taking anything myself. So unless we get more questions, I'm probably going to end the session up a little early. The reason why I'm going to be ending it early is because I don't want to be forcing any trades. I know how I trade, and when this volatility picks up, I'm probably going to want to take some risky trades here. Let's see who's talking right now. So I think he's speaking directly to Yellen, and I wouldn't be surprised because price is still dumping right here. It's still falling pretty heavily. So what I'm worried about is that if I enter a sell at this point, say Powell comes on next, right? And when Powell comes on, his price is going to spike right back up. So it's going to be a little bit careful. It's a little bit risky. Rav said I was not within K2 and you were using that. Yeah, so Sam just confirmed here. We used to use that strategy on FOREX because I wasn't trading US 30 back then. So that strategy isn't, it still works, but it's not optimized for US 30 because the thing is US 30 moves differently. It works very well for FOREX pairs. I mean, it still works pretty well, but it's not necessarily the best. Rav, you do know the strategy because it's the first strategy you learned when you joined K2. It's if you go on the website, it's the very first strategy, Rav. It's the very first one that you ever learned when you joined K2. So you've seen it before. You just don't. I don't think you realize what it is, and it's the same thing we talked about last time, Rav. Because you asked me about it a couple weeks ago. You were asking what the strategy was. It's the intraday strategy. Let me pull up the course and I'll see if I can find it because we did talk about this the last time we mentioned this on the live session. Rav, you actually reached out to me and you asked what the strategy was, and I told you, you're like, oh yeah, I remember that strategy. Yeah. So if you go to the website over here, let me pull up the course if I can find it. Let's see. All right, so here's the course right here, Rav. Let me pull this over here real quick. All right, so here's the course, Rav. If you scroll down right here, it's going to be the where is it at? all the scalp strategies are above now, but it's this one. It's the K2 Trades official intraday trading strategy. So you can apply this on like all other time frames. It's just this strategy is like it's meant for Forex. This strategy was created for Forex a long time ago. I mean, it's been a long time. It's been like 5, 6 years ago when I created this for you guys. So if you want to look at it, Brad, it's going to be here on the course. It's going to be the intraday strategy. Yeah, but I wouldn't necessarily use that as like the main stretch. So Yellen is still speaking, guys, and look at price. It was dropping this whole time she was speaking. Price is now starting to swing back up because she's responding to the responses. She's probably saying something good to try to see if we hear her.
Meet those burdensome expenditures.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Madam Secretary, Chair Powell, is it still your belief that higher?
Okay, so Powell was speaking.
Chiefly caused by the upheaval we're experiencing as a result of the global pandemic, and then as the pandemic eases, so too should inflationary pressure.
I would say it this way.
There you go, Powell. There goes Rick's boy Powell.
Prices we're seeing are related to this.
Look, price is now going up like crazy. Look how far price pushed up, and it's still pushing.
The pandemic and the reopening.
Like it's just funny when you guys watch this and you're like, oh, Powell speaks and price is shooting like crazy. Look at that.
Few months across the economy.
Yeah, that thing is pumping.
Higher inflation has increased.
Thank you.
Look how far it's pushing, guys. It cracks me up when I see this.
That stable coins are controlled by opaque, secretive technology companies over and over on issue after issue. We've seen tech firms put profits ahead of the.
You gotta be careful, Rick, because Yellen might be speaking next.
Privacy with competition in our markets.
Look at that thing pumping up. Everyone's literally buying because Powell's speaking.
All of our money fall to the hands of these companies.
I believe that
See how it spiked down this wick right here?
Result in some
Because Yellen's speaking.
greater
Dude, it's funny.
efficiencies in the payment system and
Look how it's coming down.
contribute to easier
This wick right
and
here.
more efficient payments, but only if they're adequately regulated and
You hear it speaking right in the background, guys?
that I chair.
This thing's starting to dump right here.
report, indicating.
So you guys want to be
there are
careful. Don't like
risks
gamble. Like
associated with these.
I know it's funny that we're like watching this and price is going down and up. But don't gamble like that. I don't recommend anyone gamble like that because you can see it real time that like whenever she speaks, price goes down. Whenever Powell speaks, it goes up. So, a lot of people don't believe price gets manipulated, right? Like, guys, this is clear manipulation. Price is going up and down whenever they say anything, but still people are like, oh, manipulation isn't real. I guess it isn't real then. Because we're watching it real time on the 1 minute chart. And it's like, look how price is dropping right here. Who's speaking? Yellen's speaking. Watch when Powell comes on. It's going to come right back up. So this is why I don't want to trade during this time, guys. Because the thing is, I know it's all fun and games right now. The price is going up and down. But the thing is, you don't know where the real direction is. Because it's just going back and forth. So, you guys kind of want to be careful if you guys are trading. So if you guys have any other questions, feel free to drop your questions in the chat, and then I can answer whatever questions you guys have. Otherwise, I think I'm going to be wrapping up the session pretty soon because I already know myself. I'm getting excited when I see them talk and I want to hop into these moves just like Rick is doing. But I have to control myself and have discipline. So in order to have discipline, I got to step away from the computer. And that's something that you guys should have too, right? I know you guys are like, you want to play around in the market too, because you guys see this stuff going on, but you want to trade with skill. You don't want to trade with luck, and you guys don't want to take anything too risky. And no, Rav, I haven't taken any trades today, unfortunately. It's okay, but I haven't taken any trades myself. Rick's like, bro, why the hate? No hate at all, man. Rick's been killing it. Look at Rick. So let's scroll down real quick. Rick's currently up 5,938 today. So great work right there, Rick. You caught the buys and the sells both ways. So definitely great work right there, Rick. Albert over here too. Albert locked in a total of 3,510. All wins, no losses. Great work, Albert. He took the trade there. Vincent here took the trade as well. Took the buy, locked in a total of 5,130. Great work, Vincent. Rick again over here, 5,938. Damn, so all you guys here locked in about 5,000 each. That's crazy. Albert 3,000, Vincent 5,000, Rick 5,000, Fahad over here 13,000. Wow, it's amazing. Look at that. So Fahad locked in a total of 13,698 for the day. 6 sells and buys. Kind of swung around both ways, but he locked in some pretty massive profit right there. Great work, Fahad. And I think this is probably off your funded account too, huh? So you're killing it, dude. Yeah, great work, everybody here. I mean, you guys are killing it. Really, really great work there. Patrick over here locked in a total of 1,419. Great work, Patrick. His other account, 2,970. Another great job right there by Patrick. Oh, this is cool, Arash. Yeah, no, this is cool. This is a cool EA. I already have mine doing automatic for me, Arash, because I do I use a built-in application, but you can this is actually really good too. If you don't know your lot size, I already have mine at a fixed lot size, so I don't necessarily need anything like that, but I have it. I use a depth of market tool on mine. Yeah, so great work amongst everyone here. You guys are doing great. Vincent over here too, 5,130. Nice work, Vincent. Anyone else here? I think that's it. So yeah, if you guys have more profits to send over, just send them over. Otherwise, Orain over here just sent his profits in, locked in a total of, let's see, 100, 200, 400, about 1,000 right here. Yeah, nice work, Orain. So yeah, Orain said almost up 2% on MFF. Thanks for all you do, man. So Orain's killing it, on point right here. Profits on profits on profits. So let's get Orain. You're almost done with your MFF there. Look at price dumping right here. This is exactly why I'm not trading right now, guys. This is crazy. Look at that. Who's talking right now? I bet Yellen was talking, or she said something. Because look at this huge spike to the downside. This is why I'm not going to fumble into these trades. I got to control myself. Because I would have been like, think about it, guys. I would have been super pissed if I entered a buy here and then it ended up coming down to stop me out. I'm like just curious who's talking right now, or who was talking when that happened. I'm like almost 100% sure it was probably Yellen, because you're talking about mortgage-backed securities right now.
Follow up on the discussion about payment stablecoins in the President's Working Group. Payment stablecoins were defined, and the definition is, and I quote, "Those stablecoins that are designed to maintain a stable value relative to a fiat currency, and therefore have the potential to be used as a widespread means of payment," end quote, end quote. Well, that certainly covers every major stable coin that exists right now. And what strikes me as perplexing is that the President's Working Group recommendation is that all such stable coins be required to be issued by depository institutions only. But yet, as you know, the mechanism by which the
all right, let's go back to the charts. So price is still dropping right now. They're talking about stable coins, altcoins, Bitcoin, stuff like that. They're talking about cryptocurrency. So I mean, they're just talking about like how, it can be regulated, stuff like that. But this is exactly why I wouldn't want to enter these trades and why I recommend people sit out the market. Other than that, D's asking, when do they stop talking? They usually talk for about like an hour, 2 hours. So, but the thing is, I see Yellen is speaking, guys. So as you guys can see, Yellen is speaking.
That's when they're introduced.
And look what happens to price. It's crazy.
That they,
so guys, just be careful. But yeah, they usually talk for about 2 hours, an hour or 2 hours, D. But after they're done talking, we have Fed members speaking right after. So we have Fed member Williams speaking at 7:30. At 10 o'clock, we have Fed member Clarita. So when they're done speaking, Powell and Yellen, then the next group of people are going to be Fed member Clarita. So it's going to keep going on maybe till like noon today, my time. So 7 right now, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So probably for the next 5 hours, they're going to be talking. So that's why I'm not even going to bother trading today, or I mean, yeah, today in general, because there's just too much stuff going on in the market. It's not necessarily a safe time to be trading. Last thing you want to get caught is like in any of these trades here, especially when you can just sit it out, right? Because that's always everyone's case, right? Everyone thinks like they want to trade, and then until they lose, they're like, damn, I should just set it out. And that's exactly what I'm trying to keep you guys from doing, because it happens all the time. People will get stopped out of trades and they'll get upset because they know they should have just not traded. And I've been in that position. That's why I personally would just rather not trade. Because the thing is, guys, it's barely Tuesday. We have a whole week ahead of us. We have Wednesday tomorrow. We have Thursday the day after. We have Friday the day after that, which is NFP. So you guys want to keep in mind that you probably want to protect your capital for a day like that, instead of gambling on a day when both of these people are speaking. Like if it was just Powell speaking, that'd be great. Or if it was just Yellen speaking, that'd be great. But the problem with this is that Powell and Yellen are both speaking at the same time. So price is going to be bouncing back and forth, right? If only one person was speaking, it would be great because it's just going to keep going up. Or if the other person was just speaking, price would just keep going down. But right now it's just too risky. So damn, yeah, Rick lost some profit off that. So Rick, I think you should just chill for the rest of the day, because Powell's not going to be speaking the entire time. So you just want to be careful. Rav, NFP is this week. So NFP is this Friday. If you look at the calendar for this week, it's going to be this Friday. Right over here, NFP this Friday. So you want to be careful. This whole week's kind of choppy. It's going to be messy because it's NFP. Plus we have a lot of Fed news coming out this week too. So, all right, guys, I think that's it for the questions. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to reach out through email or Telegram. I'm just going to wrap up a few minutes early because I don't want to be caught in any of these trades here. I already know I could already feel myself getting that FOMO. So what I'm going to do today is I think I'm going to go to Disneyland. So I'll probably just go to Disneyland, spend the day over there, and then come back for Asia session, maybe trade later. But yeah, for days like this, I recommend you guys go and find something to do. Don't just stay on the charts all day because you guys are going to be addicted and you guys want to take trades. For me, just find an outlet. If you guys want to go to the gym, if you guys want to go work out, go outside, go hiking, do whatever you guys need to do to stay off the charts. Because it's not going to look very nice today. It's going to keep bouncing back and forth as they continue to speak. Just take a break, step away. And the thing is, if you guys do lose a trade, no revenge trade. Today's the worst day to revenge trade. Just make sure to step away from the computer maybe for an hour or two, come back with a fresh mind, and then maybe trade then. But yeah, don't revenge trade. Use proper risk. If you want to continue trading, I would recommend just go on your demo and just play around with that, because you definitely don't want to be risking anything during this time. So if you guys have questions, reach out. Otherwise, yeah, Rick said taking my 4,964.20 to the bar. Definitely, Rick. So yeah, take a break, Rick. Go have some fun, and then come back Asia session if you really want to trade, or just come back tomorrow. So other than that, guys, have a great rest of your morning. If you guys do decide to trade, remember to use proper risk and to just be really careful during this session. Otherwise, I will catch you guys later.